Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with our NFL Week 2 power rankings. Week 1 was very interesting. There were a lot of surprises that happened. I believe I went, excuse me, I believe I went 10 and 6 on my predictions last week, so pretty solid. Could definitely do better, but I'll take a 10 and 6 prediction record. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my power rankings this year in a tier tier list sort of structure. I have these just I have all of these logos just auto loaded, so if some of these logos look a little weird, that's just the website auto generating them. So there's that. But I'm gonna try to go in accurate of an order as I can. But starting off at 32, I gotta go Panthers. They looked absolutely atrocious this last week, and yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. I thought the offense was going to take, maybe not like a huge step forward, but at least a step forward. I thought Bryce Young was going to look better because, the offensive line improved quite a bit. And receivers were open at times. They really were. But they weren't running the ball like they should. Bryce Young, even though he was protected, he threw an interception his very first throw of the game. So by their second possession, they had already allowed 10 points. So that's already a bad hole to be in. Defense, I think we kind of expected them to take a big decline this year, but I mean, 47 points in the season opener. That's pretty atrocious. So, yeah, Panthers at 32. 31, I'm going to go with the Giants. They got absolutely washed out by the Vikings. Am I not able to reorder these? There we go. Yeah, they got absolutely washed by the Vikings. Sam Darnold looked really, really good. I didn't expect it. I thought Sam Darnold was gonna look pretty rough this year, and he still might. He still might. We gotta realize this is the Giants they played, but for right now, I'm gonna be giving him credit for that. I thought they ran the ball well. Aaron Jones looked good. Defense looked good. I know they had at least one pick six. I think it was Andrew Van Ginkel. They had several sacks as well. Yeah, Vikings looked like a good team against them. And again, I know it's the Giants, but you definitely want Daniel Jones to look better than that. So not very encouraging for Giants fans. At 30, I think I'm gonna go. Sorry, I didn't do my week 1 power rankings, so I couldn't just adjust them like that. This is kind of my first power rankings of the season, so I'm trying to decide wisely. Honestly, I'm thinking either Broncos or Raiders. I think I'm going to go Raiders. Honestly, their defense didn't look nearly as good as I expected them to. I came into the season thinking they were going to have a really, really good defense. I also, I thought they were going to have like an amazing D line, and J.K. Dobbins ran all over them. Like, it was bad. Yeah, just a lot left to be desired from that defense. And, we expected the offense to be really bad. I mean, Gardner Minshew, like, I think Minshew's a solid backup, but I don't think he's a starting NFL in or a starting quarterback in the NFL, and that showed. They also don't have good enough running backs to really mask the quarterback's play. So Raiders looking pretty rough. At 29, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix didn't look great either, to be completely honest. There were a lot of throws that, I mean, he was throwing into double and triple coverage a few times, just trying to force the ball in. I do think as the season progresses, he'll settle in a little bit more and start to look better. This game right here, I wouldn't grade him too harshly right there, but I mean, you do also have to be fair. They didn't look great against the Seahawks. Early on, early on their defense was looking really good. I believe they had two safeties against the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. Cuz I know one of them was the result of a holding call that took place in the end zone. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what the other one was, but I believe they had two safeties. But as the game progressed, their defense started kind of looking tired. Maybe they slowed down because the offense was doing so bad. That tends to happen in some games. So yeah, Denver Broncos at 29. At 28, I'm going to go ahead and put, let's see. I think I'm going to put the Washington Commanders at 28. I thought there were parts that they looked good against the Bucks. I think Jaden Daniels at times looked really good. I want to say he had two rushing touchdowns. He had like 80 something rushing yards, so he is definitely going to be a dual threat quarterback. Absolutely. I think early on, I think we're going to see pretty similar play to like rookie year Lamar Jackson. It looks very similar there. The defense wasn't good. Baker Mayfield absolutely destroyed that defense, and I mean, the Bucks are a good team, but I did expect them to take a little bit of a decline this year. It's not really looking like that's going to happen now. It's looking like they're honestly, it's looking like the NFC South is going to be theirs to take. But yeah, the Commanders' defense couldn't do anything against them, which you got to be disappointed in because, I mean, the Commanders did pick up both Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner, two very big name linebackers, but you just can't allow 37 points right there if you expect your rookie quarterback to succeed. So at 27, I'm going to put. Let me think. I think I'm going to put the. Man, there's a lot of teams here that I don't feel great about putting this low. um, I think I'm gonna put the Chargers here. This isn't a knock on the Chargers at all. This is about where I had them coming into this season. And honestly, I expected them to run the ball the way they did. And honestly, their defense looked pretty good. My my issue with not moving them up more is because the Raiders just looked that bad. Um, and honestly, there were teams that were really low that performed really well that I think deserve to move up a couple spots. Like like the Cardinals, I expected them to be down here in this range and get destroyed by the Bills. It was only a 6-point game. They played really well. Um, the Titans I had pretty low. I think they deserve to go up a spot or two because, I mean, we expected the Bears to have a high power offense this year, even with a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. And that offense of the Bears did nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was all defense and special teams. Um, so that's why I'm moving the Titans up a little bit from the original spot. Also, the Vikings. I had the Vikings coming into the season as a bottom five team, and they absolutely destroyed the Giants. Um, so, yeah, again, this isn't a knock on the Chargers. It's just there were other teams that I thought played a lot better than expected, and it made me kind of adjust the rankings a little bit. So, I could see the Chargers moving up quite a bit as the season goes on if they keep it up. So, um, at 26, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go. I think I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans. They did end up losing to the Bears. Um, there were definitely some mistakes there. I mean, I believe the Bears had a pick six and a blocked punt returned for a touchdown, and I mean, you just can't allow that to happen. I mean, it was it was pretty bad in that area. Um, I thought Will Levis at times made some good throws, but he also made some very bad throws, which I mean it's understandable. He's a second year quarterback. Um, dealing with a new head coach, like that makes sense. I'm still not super high on their weapons either, so not amazing weapons. And he was going against a tough defense. So, I mean, I don't want to criticize him too hard because of that, but I think 26 for right now is a solid spot for them. At 25, I'm going to go ahead and put the New England Patriots. I had them actually coming into the season as the worst team, or second worst team in the league, just behind the Giants. Um, I know that the Bengals usually start off the season slow, but I expected them to at least beat the Patriots, pretty convincingly. That didn't happen. Patriots won. I thought it was a pretty good opening statement game by Gerard Mayo. Um, Jacoby Brissett didn't look great, but I thought they were running the ball well. Brissett made the throws he needed to. And honestly, defense really stopped the Bengals well. So Patriots are getting a nice jump here after week one. 24. I'm actually going to put the Atlanta Falcons here. Coming into the season, I was a lot higher on them. I had them placed to win the NFC South. I thought they were going to be a really, really good team. I thought they were going to be nearly unstoppable. Well, that didn't happen. Kirk Cousins did not look like vintage Kirk Cousins against the Steelers. Um, Bijan Robinson really didn't do as much on the ground as as you'd expect. He did have a few receptions for, some nice yardage there, so still some, he still did some damage, but not as much on the ground as you would have expected. Um, the offense just didn't do a whole lot. Their defense looked all right. I mean, they held them to 6 field goals, not a single touchdown, but still, they lost the game because of 6 field goals. 4 field goals would have been enough to win the game for the Steelers. I mean, that's very, very underwhelming performance by the Falcons. Um, so, yeah, we have them there at, what is that, 24? Yeah. Yeah. So, at 23, I'm going to go ahead and put the Vikings. Like I said earlier, I expected them to be a bottom 5 team in the league this year. And I know they played the Giants, so that's why they're not getting a bigger jump. But they owned the Giants in all phases. Offense, defense, special teams, everything. Like, they were more prepared. Sam Darnold looked good. I think they deserve the jump that I'm giving them this week. So, number 22, I'm going to put the Saints. Saints are another team I honestly had as a bottom 5 team this year. I really did. I thought they were going to be atrocious. I thought that defense was getting too old. I didn't think they were going to be playing fast anymore. Because, I mean, Tyrann Mathieu, what, like 33? Demario Davis is either 35 or 36. Cam Jordan's like 35. I mean, I thought that defense was going to look a lot slower. And honestly, offensively, I didn't think Kamara was going to come out looking that explosive. Um, I've always been a fan of Rashid Shaheed. He's got some nasty speed, and he showed that on Sunday. He absolutely did. Um, Chris Olave didn't get a lot of looks, but they still put 47 points on the Panthers with barely using Chris Olave. I mean, that deserves a good jump there. So, moving them up, 5, 6 spots from where I expected them to be, I think that's a good jump. It'll be interesting to see if they keep performing like that, or if it was just, a good performance against a bad team. I think we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. So 21, I believe that'd be. I'm going to go ahead and have I'm going to put the Chicago Bears there at 21. Yeah, the offense didn't look good. I know the Titans are supposed to have a pretty good team, well, pretty good defense this year, but I mean, Caleb Williams just did not look good. Their running game couldn't really get going. They won this game purely because of defense and special teams, which I mean is great. Like, the W is really all that matters, but you still want to see a little more from this quarterback that you drafted expecting to be generational. So, at number 20, I'm going to go ahead and put, let's see. So many of these teams now can, like, they're all so close, a lot of these teams. So it's hard to figure out the right placement for them. Um, I think I'm going to put the. I think I'm going to put the Colts here. Um, I didn't expect the Colts to be like an amazing team this year, but I didn't have them placed as like a bottom 5 team either. So really 20 is probably around where I expected them to be. I don't think we should come in expecting like a 10-7 record again this year because, well, I mean, they're dealing with a second year quarterback who basically didn't really get much of a rookie year. So, I mean, I think 20's pretty fair, and if Anthony Richardson continues to perform, they can rise the ranks a little bit. They did play a really tough Texans team. So, number 19, I'm going to put the Cardinals. I mentioned earlier they were another team that I had pretty low this year. Wasn't really a big fan of their offense or defense. I know Kyler Murray elevates that offense quite a bit. But, I mean, their offense was flowing. And this was without really getting Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. If they can start to get him involved going forward too, this could be a pretty scary looking offense. Defensively, I thought they looked good at parts. Early on in the game, I thought they were containing Josh Allen pretty well, slowing them down. Allen kind of just took over, what was it, probably halftime or so, and, started exposing him. So, I think 19 is a pretty good spot for the Cardinals. I think they looked better than I expected them to. Number 18. I'm going to be a little bit harsh with the Bengals here and put them at 18. I expected them to be a lot better of a team this year, and they looked bad. I know they usually start off slow, but they just looked bad. I definitely had higher expectations for them. Burrow didn't look great. Really, nobody on that team really looked great. So, at 17, I'm going to go ahead and place the. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the. I'm going to go with the Packers right here. Now, before Packers fans get mad, this is a power ranking, not a record prediction or saying how good the team is as a whole. You got to take it week by week, and because Jordan Love isn't going to be playing this week, Packers are probably not going to be looking great. It's going to be Malik Willis. So, if Jordan Love was still playing this week, he'd probably still be a top 10 team. But you got to adjust with Malik Willis. So, that's why they're so far down. So, at number 16, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I expected them to be a lot better of a team coming into the season, and they got worked pretty hard by the Cowboys. It felt like a lot more like it felt like the Cowboys beat them by even more than they did. It didn't feel like a close game at all. So yeah, Browns take a big dip right here. Let's see. So this would be 2019, 18, 17, 16. Okay, number 15. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I expected them to be kind of a middle of the road team, probably around 18, 19 coming into the season. And I mean, they played well against the Broncos. I know the Broncos are a low team for me, but they still played them really well. They got the win. I think they deserve to go up a couple spots. Number 14, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I also had them as a middle of the road team, probably also around 18, 19, 20. And they beat who I expected to be a really good team in the Falcons. Like, they put an absolute defensive beatdown on them. And even though they didn't score any touchdowns, I mean, they very clearly got in field goal range at least 6 times. I mean, they moved the ball on them. So, yeah, if the Steelers can figure out their red zone offense and keep playing strong defense, they could be a really good team this year. They absolutely could. So, number 13, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had them coming into the season around 15, 16, and they played a bad team, but they absolutely destroyed that bad team. I thought offensively they played an amazing game against the Commanders, and I think 13 is a deserving spot. Number 12. I think here at 12, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was a competitive game with them and the Dolphins. I want to say early on, the Jags had a lead, and were playing the Dolphins really well. Dolphins just came back and won. So really not any real movement by the Jags. I expected them to be competitive. I expected them around this, number 12 to 13 range. Yeah, good performance by the Jags, even though they lost. So, and number 11, I'm actually gonna put the Bills here. The Bills are another team that I I thought they were going to take a big step backward this year because of all the departures. I mean, losing Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Stephon Diggs, so many good players. I didn't think they were going to be a great team. And I had them around this range. I didn't really want to move them up much, if any, this week because, well, they played what I thought was going to be a lower end team. But if they keep up that type of performance, they could definitely rise the ranks again. Number 10, I'm going to put the LA Rams. They put on a really, really good show against the Lions. Season opener on Sunday night, taking it to overtime. They were real competitive with the Lions. And they were down 17-3 at one point and came back 20-17. They almost had the win. The Lions were just able to clutch up when needed. But yeah, Rams played absolutely tough. I expect them to be a really good team this year. Really good team. Number 8. There's a few teams here that I could definitely put here, but it's a little tough to see. I think I'm going to go with the Jets here. There were parts with the 49ers game last night that they were looking really good and competing well. But then, probably around halftime or so, the Niners started to just pull away. And we're just in control of the game at that point. I still think the Jets are going to be a really good team. really strong defense. Aaron Rodgers is definitely a big improvement for that team. Um, but they did end up losing, so we're going to keep them at number 9. Number 8, I'm going to go ahead and put the... I'm going to put the Philadelphia Eagles. I expect them to be kind of more of a 9, 10, maybe 11 win team this year. I mean, I know Saquon Barkley was a big get for them, and they had a solid draft. Obviously, getting Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. But they played really, really well against the Packers. They ran the ball well, passed the ball well. Jalen Hurts had a couple pretty bad interceptions, ones that you just can't have. But they got the win. You know, they were scoring good points. And really, this was on a field that players were slipping left and right. And really, those are usually tough conditions to play a lot of offense on. So, yeah, Eagles looked good. Number 7, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the Miami Dolphins. I thought they looked really good. They struggled early on against the Jags, but then kind of figured it out and were able to pull out the win. Tyreek Hill had like an 80-yard touchdown, as he does, it feels like 12 times a year. Yeah, Dolphins looked good offensively. Tua had to warm up a little bit. Offense had to just kind of get going a little bit. But once they did, that offense looked really good. So, number 6, I'm going to put the Dallas Cowboys. Now, normally I'd have them lower, actually. I came into the season saying I didn't think they were going to be very good because it just seemed like they were too unfocused this offseason with all the CeeDee Lamb drama, and it just seemed like there was so much drama going around that team. It didn't seem like they were going to be ready for the season. And that's why I thought the Browns were going to get the win there. No, they absolutely worked the Browns. They're one of my bigger risers this week. They looked really good. Number 5, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Houston Texans. I've had them as, you know, one of my best teams in the league this year. They got the win against the Colts. C.J. Stroud's picking right back up where he left off last year. Joe Mixon was absolutely filthy with like 160 rushing yards and a touchdown. Looked really good. Stephon Diggs got... Did he get 2 touchdowns or just 1? I feel like I remember seeing that he got 2, but I could be wrong about that. Anyways, Texans offense looked really good. Defense could improve a little bit, but the Colts also have a good offense, so you understand where that's coming from. So, number 4, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Baltimore Ravens. I expected them to be a really, really good team this year. And they still will be. I still believe that. I expect them to have a top defense this year. Offense should take a leap. They were using Zay Flowers so much on opening night. I think he's going to get targeted a lot this year. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And I mean, man, they were that close to taking into overtime against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I mean, you can't write off the Ravens this early. So, number 3, I'm actually going to go with the 49ers right here. Um, yeah, they looked good. Early on, they looked to struggle a little bit with the Jets, but kind of after halftime, like I mentioned, they started to take control, and really they were in pretty full control the second half of the game. So, number 2, um, I'm going to go with the Lions. I wanted to put them at number 1, but I thought they were too close to letting the Rams win the other night, to be at number 1. I mean, like I said, the Rams are a good team, but I mean, they blew a 14-point lead and almost let the Rams win in Detroit. I mean, they got to do better than that. They did end up winning, but it was overtime. And I'm sure a lot of Lions fans were holding their breath for a lot of that second half of the game. So, because of that, number 1, I am going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did end up beating the Ravens on opening night. And honestly, my my prediction for the Super Bowl this year is probably going to be Chiefs Lions, if not Lions Ravens. So yeah, let me know what you think of these power rankings in the comment section below. Again, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.